Hey, everybody. I am here today with my esteemed co-host, Landon, and we are joined by Mike Crowley today to talk about everything that has to do with video marketing, what you should be doing in 2020. You don't want to miss the boat. This is the best way to communicate with customers and prospects now. So we're going to dig into all of that stuff with Mike today. Looking forward to having a fantastic conversation. It's always a good chat with Mike.
No pressure, Crowley. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
No problem.
Mike always delivers.
I'll try.
So I had known of Mike for a long time. We had exchanged emails. He helped my agency out with some strategies that we were trying to build with video, but we hadn't actually ever shaken hands. So we finally got to meet each other face to face at IAOA in San Diego, where it was much sunnier and warmer than where we're at now. So I don't know. We could head back. Should we go back to San Diego?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is that's probably like normal weather for Landon, but for the rest of us up north,
good.
So I was excited to finally get to meet you. We had some great conversations over those couple of days, and So
but the best part, it was kind of just a random run-in the hallway, which made it even more exciting. Now that you're at your new role, it's a lot easier for you to get out, and obviously it was great running into you.
Yeah, I was kind of like the Easter egg that weekend. I just kept. Nobody knew I was going to be there, so it was just kind of like I would.
So it makes it great.
Yeah, pop out. So yeah, I was just there to be the element of surprise for the weekend, I guess. So yeah, it was good though. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, before we get started, the first time that I met Mike was at Elevate in Cleveland, which was 2017. Was it? That was 2017 or 2018. 2018. And listen, this year's Elevate is in Nashville. Woo! We're still working on Mike. Hopefully he can try to make it out. But it is in Nashville, May the 31st through June the 2nd. I know that we still have spots available, and we got a great lineup of speakers. So elevateconference.com, you can sign up there, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody there. Right?
Awesome.
Absolutely. Nashville's always a good theme. And Mike, I think you want to hang out with me and Landon in Nashville.
That's true. That's true. That would be a good
right.
That would be a good time.
Yeah, give it time.
I'll square dance.
Yeah, perfect. Mechanical bull, whatever's out there.
There was a mechanical bull in New Orleans.
There was, and was it Tracy Cotton, our friend Tracy?
Among other people.
Among others.
She braved it, I think, twice.
Bourbon Street's going to be tough to beat, but
Nashville
could probably do it though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So, we can try, right? Mike, we won't know unless you're there.
Oh.
All right. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. Why we're here today. Mike, I have admired you from afar for a long time. One, because you're in the amazing Syracuse, New York, which, for those of you who know where I'm from, originally Buffalo, New York. So there's a little bit of a rivalry that goes on, but we all,
Yeah, who gets the most snow?
Who gets the most snow is about it. Yeah. So we're all in good shape up there. But, dude, you kill it. You kill it in so many ways with your agency. The traditional side of the agency mixed with how you look at marketing and how you look at service and specifically your usage of video in your business. So walk us through, give us a quick synopsis of getting to this point in your agency, and then we'll dive in from there.
Well, appreciate that. I was probably, if there was like one of those votings like you did in high school, most likely to succeed or least likely to do this, I probably would have definitely been one of the ones that was least likely to do video. And really, it's just something that is completely out of my comfort zone. It's something that I was not a public speaker. I didn't want to be in front of a big crowd, any of that kind of stuff. And so it was probably a little over 3 years ago that I started to dabble a little bit into it. And it started a lot with video proposals. So for those that don't know, I'm a third generation in my family agency. We've been around for 70 years. And typical Main Street agency. There's hundreds of thousands of us probably across the country that work in family agencies or little small town agencies. And one of the best ways that we found over the past few years to just stay in front of clients, stay in front of prospects, continue to build a brand was to do something that nobody else was doing, and that was video. And so when we put it into place with our video proposals, obviously most people know by now what a video proposal is. They might not be doing it. They might want to be doing it, whatever the case is. It's probably the number one suggestion I've told agents over the past almost 3.5 years that I've been doing them.
Yeah.
It has been the absolute game changer for us.
What was that first one like? What was that very first video proposal like? Do you remember what it was like, or is it just so far away? Okay.
No. And actually the response from the client is the reason that I went all in on it.
Okay.
So, new client of mine or new prospect of mine, newly married couple, could meet with the wife. I could not meet with the husband, the new husband. I looked at everything. I did the video proposal. I sent it to him. Maybe it was a Thursday or Friday. Saturday night, they watch it. She tells me, she goes, I sat on the couch. We sat we poured a glass of wine. The kids were in bed. Whatever the case may be, we said, crap, we need to talk about the insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull up Mike's email, pulls up Mike's email, clicks the link, watches a 4 to 5 minute video. They looked at each other. Do you got any questions? Nope. He answered everything. All right, let's go with it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. And so she tells me this Monday morning, basically like that made it so easy for us because it was already 10 o'clock at night. We're sitting there after a long day, young kids, all that kind of stuff. It was like the last thing I wanted to do was try and figure something out. And
Right.
and it was just a layup. And literally you answered every question before we even had it.
Yep.
You went through everything that needed to be done, and it was perfect. So obviously we set up the insurance, we did all that kind of stuff. I could do it all with one of them because both of them, based on their schedules, it was not easy to get in touch. Electronic signature obviously helps with all that stuff.
Sure.
And just seeing that, I'm like, wow, I'm going to keep going with this. And for almost 3.5 years, that was like November of 2016, maybe. I mean, it was right in the beginning. It was right at the time. For those, I mean, some might know this because I'm very vocal about this. I work off the platform that Chris Langell at Advisory Evolve built.
Yeah.
So we do all our video proposals through there. This was during the process of when he was building my website. So this was probably the one and only, if not one of the few that I did before I used his platform, knowing that his platform was coming and I wanted to get the ball rolling.
Nice.
And I want to say it was right when he built the quote video platform inside his Power Pack tools. It was all right around the same timing. And we jumped on and we haven't looked back on that. So that really started us off.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me push pause too real quick because first of all, I would love to have an Advisor Evolve website. I am jealous. Every time I pull one up, I am like, you've got to be kidding me. I love this. Relationships are what they are. We've got what we got. We're working through that now. But I think this is an important distinction to make, and I want you to sort of speak to this, Olivia and Mike. I think, the tool is sort of irrelevant, right? I mean,
absolutely.
The tool is irrelevant. And I hope that on this broadcast, and if you listen to this back, that you can walk away from this with some pretty easy, actionable things to be able to input into the agency right away. One of those is video proposals. I'm glad you brought it up right away because it really is, I think, a starting point for people with video.
Yeah.
And there's tons of tools out there, and so. And we can run those down if y'all want. We can try to drop them in some comments if you want. But there's a bunch of free tools out there. And I think the trick is, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's just getting in front of that camera and push and record. And then if you don't like it, push record again,
Yeah. And, I've never stopped I've stopped them before mid sentence because maybe somebody was interrupting me. Right. I have never re-recorded a video.
Yeah.
Wow.
In over 3.5 years because I don't. Well, no. Let me rephrase it. I have never re-recorded a quote proposal.
Yeah.
I re-record almost every other my other videos multiple times, but it's mainly because you want to feel that connection with a customer. They want you to feel like it's okay to mess up. It's okay to stutter through words.
Yeah.
It's no different than if they're sitting in front of you, and
Right.
you want them to feel that way. So that's made it a little bit easier for us. But you're right, Landon. There's so many different tools. Really, what his tool allows me, two things outside of the other ones: ease for me. Okay, so if it's a 5-minute video proposal, it might take me a total of 8 minutes to do the whole thing from start to finish because of the way he has it set up for me and the templates that I've built within there and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Where maybe it takes 11 minutes doing it through another platform.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, we're not talking it's, oh man, now I got to spend a half hour doing this one thing. I'm not going to do that. No, that's not the case. And the other thing, it's built into our custom website. So if somebody is on our website, they're watching that, they're literally they're at our home base, and they can click around and they can find out more information about us or go to other pages without going to a third-party site, whether it's YouTube or wherever else you might be hosting some of these things on. But there's so many opportunities to use. I know a lot of people use Loom, whether it's the free or the paid version. Chris's platform has been built off of Screencast-O-Matic, which is obviously a very screen-sharing recording program.
Yeah.
And there's probably a half a dozen more that fit into this. And it really is, what can you do to get it implemented as fast as possible in your agency? And Olivia, when we talked back a few months ago regarding this, and it was literally just, okay, how can you convince your team or yourself that this is the right benefit? Now, is the benefit, and I've said this way for many years, but it's, if I have a product for somebody that came to me, was referred to me, or is looking for insurance that has better coverage and is going to save them money, it doesn't matter how I'm proposing that. If that money savings and the coverage there is there, I can write it on a cocktail napkin and say, hey, we're going to get you better coverage and save you $800. They're going to say, yeah, let's go with it. So why do we spend the time to utilize this software or this tool? And my answer has always been the relationship that you can build, because you no longer are meeting them face-to-face in your office like you might have done 15, 20 years ago. They're trying to do things through technology, whether it's on the phone, email, whatever the case is. They're building a face-to-face relationship with you. Even if you're not seeing their face, they're seeing your face. And that's extremely important in today's day and age. Yeah. And the other reason is they're not expecting this.
Right.
So when you do this, they're expecting, say they're shopping and they shop with Geico, they shop with a captive agent, and they shop with an independent agent. They're going to get some kind of direct email from Geico that says, here's your quote. They're going to get a terrible branded, let's use State Farm as an example, a terrible branded printout of State Farm's quote that looks like it's from a DOS system that says, okay, here's your option, here's your quote.
Right.
And then they're going to get a video proposal from the independent agent that is based off of however you want to propose it, whether you're proposing it on your agency branded proposal or if you do it on a carrier branded proposal. Yeah. I highly recommend don't do it on a carrier branded proposal, but that's me. And I spend the extra minute or two developing a proposal on our branded proposal page, mainly because I don't care who the company is that I'm presenting, and I don't want the client to care either. I don't want them to say, hey, I've never heard of that company.
Yeah.
Or, oh, what about this or this? I don't want them to bring a loyalty to that carrier. I don't want them to have to go and start searching for insurance carriers and saying, oh, I've never heard of this carrier. Let me see how they are. Because if you search any insurance carrier, their online presence is terrible, and they don't try and build up their reviews and how claims are handled, or just to prevent people from seeing the negativity that's out there. But that's a carriers across the board. So why get into that situation if you just mention the carrier like I do at the very end? Oh, by the way, this whole thing, it's going to be written with XYZ company. There's no affiliation there. They just spent 5 minutes listening to me talk about what we're going to solve for them, what we're going to do for them. We, as in our agency, not the company.
Well, and not that we need any more justification for this audience. I know that most of the people plugged in here, you wouldn't be necessarily watching this if you weren't on board with it. But I do think that it's a fear of the camera, whatever it is, the permanence of video, or just kind of, there is a vulnerability to it when you get going. But, one of the things that really helped me jump over that hurdle. And to your point, Mike, the first video I had to redo was yesterday because I pulled the wrong stinking quote, and I was talking about the whole thing, got to the end of it, and I was like, oh, this was not even the right number. Like, I got to totally redo this.
Yeah.
But it's that, it's how many of us would kill to just have 4 minutes on the phone with every proposal that we send out.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And that's what this allows you to do. Plus, you're a face-to-face meeting. I mean, essentially, I mean, it's virtual, right? But it's a face-to-face meeting with your prospect every single time.
Yeah,
and that's invaluable. I mean, the number of stories that you and I and Olivia could bat around here that we've heard and experienced ourselves, and people that are like, "That's my insurance agent. Like, that's him because or her because they're doing this stuff that's completely different and unique, and it's refreshing to see." So I just encourage anyone out there that if you're on the fence with it, act like it's a phone call. Just turn on that webcam and go with it, and just see what happens.
Yeah. And the amount of clients or prospects that turn clients after they watch it, they just thank you.
Yeah.
They thank you for taking the time to customize something for them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they weren't expecting it. So it's kind of that wow factor that we as independent agents want to provide every time that we're dealing with our customers, because that's really one of the things that separates us is hitting them when they're not expecting it, and you're hitting them hard. So the things that come off of that, the referrals, the positive reviews, the stuff like that just trail really fast, whether it's on a short-term or a long-term basis, it's just invaluable.
Yeah, definitely.
So a few of the things that I'm hearing as we're going through this conversation, it can be easy to go for change for the sake of change. Like, we should just do something different. Or it's like that shiny object syndrome. So it's like, well, this camera equipment's pretty cool. I would like to have it.
Yeah.
So really creating a customer experience driven modification to your process is really what you guys went for. I mean, that's why you made the change. The other thing that it allows you to do, you're establishing authenticity with your client immediately. This person maybe has only spoken to you on the phone up to that point. So it's like that authenticity that comes across, especially if you do go with first take, which I would like to call the Jingola method.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a big first take advocate, but yeah, I mean, there's so much that resonates in video that's not going to in an email.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, and it could be just the simplest little touches to it. I mean, like I said, you could send a proposal that is going to be sellable. I mean, anybody that's been doing this long enough, you're starting to know what policies, what you're going to sell before you even go and sell it. Like, it doesn't matter. And yes, price does make a difference on all of this, but price doesn't always make a difference.
Right.
We sell a lot of them when they're a few dollars more or a few $100s even more on an annual basis when we're solving problems.
Yeah.
Problems that people didn't have because they thought they could buy it themselves online or over the phone with somebody when they first started in their lives and bought their house and bought their car and whatever the case is, and just left everything the same for the last 10 years. Well, now that they have a family and all this other stuff, there's different types of insurance you really need to make sure you have protected. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like it's worth a half hour every one if it took you that long.
Yeah,
and it doesn't. So I mean, it just shows you that it's something that we've been talking about it for years on every platform everywhere.
Yep.
And if you haven't tried it and done it, like, you really have to. Like, it is going to be well worth your time. I can guarantee it.
So the proposal video was the first video, and you've expanded on that a little bit, right? So you have like your intro email that's in your signature, right? If I remember emails that I've received.
Yes, but we have changed that recently. So for probably about 2 years, for 2 years, I had a video signature in my email. Stole the idea from Nicholas Ayers, the king of video himself, mainly because, again, it was a way to bring people into my life, my office, talk about me, talk about some of the things. I mean, you can make it 30 seconds and it's a way of just saying, hi, I'm here for you. Right. Yep. And I did that for a while, and I recently switched and we rebranded every staff member's email signature so they all match perfectly. And we did that mainly because I want people to start to see whether it's the font, whether it's the colors, whether it's the only difference there are people's names, obviously their email addresses and their picture. So everybody's picture is in their email signature. And the purpose of that is I don't want to be the only one that's building the relationship with some of these people the way we present it. And so if I was the one that maybe the initial sale was done through, if somebody else from my team emails that person 3 months afterwards, that signature is still going to resonate with them. They're going to know it came from us without reading the title. Yeah. So that's only been a few months, maybe, Olivia, that we've done that. But no, we added video into almost every aspect that we possibly can. I did things for a while. I had a weekly video series. I did that for almost a year. I then tried to challenge our good friend Ryan Hanley's 100 Questions in 100 Days video series, and I did do it. So there's a lot of video out there, and a lot of it is really and let me stop, because there's so much that you can do as an agency owner, as an agency representative, as just an agent in general, what you can do to help build what your goals are for your agency. Right. And the thing is, and I want to narrow this back down a little bit. You need to have a purpose and a goal for it. Okay. And there's so many different goals. And I'm going to drop a few names of people that are doing different things and different goals. You look at somebody like a Nicholas Ayers that I already mentioned. Okay. He is the king of video. He has his own consulting program for video marketing. Yeah. But he's heavy into doing YouTube ads, Facebook ads, using his video in ads for obviously his agency and for other businesses that he helps with. Okay. So you can focus on the ads. Okay. You got the niche-based education, like what Chris Green's doing, the flood insurance guru, where literally he's doing video every day talking about flood education. He's not talking about auto insurance. He's not talking about home insurance. He's not just being a generalist. He is very hyper niche focused. And that's a great way to go. So if you have a niche within your agency, you better start doing some videos in case people like Chris decide to branch out of flood, and he's going to basically come in and take your niche for you. Because that's one of just those things that he's building the reputation across the country as the person to go to for flood. Okay. Neither of those were my focus. Okay. So my main focus was to become the insurance go-to person in my local community. Okay. So it's all community based. Now, am I focusing on doing video specific to my community? No. I am posting generic tips, videos, education across all the different types of stuff that we do so that I become a resource. And that resource is the insurance guy. And I joked for a long time that says the reason I'm doing this is because I want to be able to go to the grocery store and have somebody stop me and be like, hey, you're the insurance guy. And they are not a customer. They are really just some random person that saw videos of me, whether it's on social media, YouTube, or whatever the case may be. Right. And after a few years of doing video very consistently to semi-consistently to whatever, that finally happened like 3 weeks ago. And it was one of the coolest moments was because, one, you're not expecting it. Two, I literally had earbuds in and was just walking around the grocery store by myself, enjoying a peaceful hour quiet. And literally the guy stops me, says the name of the agency. He says my video series title, which is Coverage with Crowley. And he says, man, I really enjoy watching your stuff every week. And And I'm thinking, and he introduced himself. He tells me who he is. He's 3 years into his business, and he just admires the stuff I'm doing. And I'm thinking that was the reason. And obviously there's a lot more to go. There's a lot more things I can do. The education is very helpful for people, whether they know or are looking for that education or not. And there's the different things that you can do for it. The stuff we put on YouTube is strictly looking for Google to search it. I mean, basically, if somebody has a really specific question, it's found based off of the keywords and everything else I'm putting in. The stuff I throw on social media might be just me holding up my cell phone saying, hey, here's something you may not know about your auto insurance.
Yeah.
And just get some conversation going. And you see the difference. You see when leads are coming in, you see when there's activity, you see all sorts of stuff come from this, and it doesn't take too much. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
So talk about that a little bit too, because that may be an obstacle that's in a lot of our ways. You are hands-on in your agency. I mean, I'm guessing you are communicating with clients, you may be doing some quoting, maybe whatever the steps are. You've obviously made it a point and see the value in video to prioritize video at some point. But how do you fit it in your day?
It's tough. It's really tough. That's where if you develop a very consistent, and we can shout out another great video person that has dominated the last few years in this is Woody Brown, where he picked a day of the week, and I'm going to have an Ask Woody Wednesday. Okay. I tried that for a long time, doing one specific day of the week, and it got so difficult because you would get to that day and it would be like, oh man, I got to come up with something. I got to do a video and I got to get this posted. So you were forced to prioritize that as priority number one, no matter what fires were burning. So then it turned into, okay, now I'm going to do a weekly one. And I struggled with that too. And that was the main reason behind trying to take on Hanley's challenge.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it was when he was in North Carolina talking at something back a couple years ago. I listened to it. Somebody recorded it or he posted it somewhere. And he said, after all these years, I've told people that I've done this and this is how much business came from it. And still nobody has done it.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, and it was right at the time where I'm like, I got to figure a way to get consistent with this again.
Yeah.
And I said, screw it. I'm going to try. I'm doing it. And then instead of just saying I'm going to do it, I publicly came out and said I was going to do it.
Yeah.
So then everybody could hold me accountable, because then I would look terrible if I gave up on it. And that was the best thing ever. And I believe the insurance guys, Bradley and Scott there, I was on their stuff and he goes, I can't believe you came out and said this beforehand. And I'm like, if I didn't, I would probably have stopped.
Right.
But it forced me every day to produce and get some kind of content out there. Now, would I recommend everybody to do that? No, because that's not realistic. It really isn't. If you can, that's great. But anything you can do to put your face into the camera in front of your prospect, in front of your clients, is going to be beneficial for you.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite speeches that I've heard, he's mentioned this in a lot of his stuff before, and I know he's going to be an Elevate speaker, from Brandon Smith, buddy of mine. He says, the difference between a contract and a contact is the R, which is the relationship. Okay. One of the ways to build a relationship in today's digital world is to put your face out there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nobody is going to feel that same feeling of connection just shooting emails or talking on the phone.
Right.
They'll go to Geico for that. If you as an independent agent want to continue to stand out, you need to be in front of them somehow. Now, maybe you're still hands-on where you go meet them at their kitchen table. Maybe you bring them to the local coffee shop every time you're going to sell something. That's fine. You're still building a relationship. But if you're trying to move people in and out as fast as possible to close deals and to build a relationship, video is going to be the number one way to do it. Yeah. And it can't just be that initial, hey, here's a nice proposal. You saw my face. You're never going to see my face again.
Right.
Add it into your entire process, whether it's part of your new onboarding. Do videos introducing your team members to them. Doing video to talk about the renewal that's coming up. Maybe that's a video about the claims process. So they know that, hey, I remember we talked about this when we wrote the policy, but now it's been 60 days and I don't really remember what you said. What do I do in the event of a claim?
Yeah.
I've always had State Farm and I just called an 800 number. So do I just call the 800 number? Do I call you? What's the process?
Yeah.
Okay, well, put it in your process to send them a custom video that says this is what you do with us. And this is what's the most important for you to know. So that they can either save that link so they know 3 years from now they had a claim. What do I do? Who do I call? Boom, there's the video resource. So you don't have to continue to answer these questions over and over again. And it's probably the best. It's the best thing that I ever did that I never thought I ever would.
Well, and it's funny because we know that in terms of like the way people consume information, there's so much more visual that's going on than like reading text.
Yeah.
But there's still like, we disconnect it from the way that we necessarily want to do business. So it's like a weird thing that we've separated that actually it flows through the way that we do any sort of interaction. So when you did your 100 days, was it 100 or 101?
It was 101.
101, that's right. Okay. So you had all of your topics like pre-selected, like you had that all kind of baked out?
That was probably the reason I was able to accomplish it, was because I announced it like December 10th and said effective January 1, I'm going until April 11th. I believe it was the time frame for the 101 days. And I spent 3 weeks of December organized, scheduling, figuring out exactly what I wanted to talk about, kind of some background or at least some notes on each one so that I can keep things to a 1.5 to 2.5 minute video, or at least try to, and really hit on those things. So that way, I mean, I'll be honest, I batch recorded a whole bunch of them. Yeah. Like literally, I would
that at all.
no, because I would have never accomplished it. Right.
Yeah.
When you're in the trenches dealing and doing everything in an agency, that is not, and have a family that you go home to, kids to take care of and all that kind of stuff. You don't have the time to, I'm just going to record one a day and I'll edit it and I'll post it. Like, it doesn't work that way. I mean, to the point where the IAOA conference was that January, and it was in Las Vegas, that I had to go and edit a video to get it posted so I didn't lose my streak, because I all the ones I had in reserve were already used up. Like, and it was my own bad planning, but it was like, okay, we got an hour break here. Well, instead of just going to the vendor hall, I'm going upstairs to my hotel room and edit this real quick to put out there on YouTube. And,
nice.
I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, there was a few times I scrambled, but batch recording was the only thing that allowed me to even get remotely close.
Nice.
Yeah.
You feel like, you feel like that video series, got the mileage that you wanted out of it, or do you think it's still working out there for you? What's the?
It's definitely still working, but not all of them got the mileage out of it. And actually, the other day I was in there responding to somebody that made a comment on one of them, and you can see the difference on the number of views of the ones that must have really clicked with what Google keywords wanted versus ones that were off a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, this has got 1,700 views. This other one's got 17. Like, what's the difference?
How did that happen? Yeah.
And there's the part that I haven't prioritized to go back and say, you know what? I need to re-keyword some of these that aren't performing well.
Yeah.
I also don't have written content with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I probably only do with about a third. And that was a goal too. But I think at the time I got done, I basically was just like, I'm done. Like, this was like when somebody trains to run a marathon. They run the marathon and they say, yeah, I'm not running again for a little while.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the mindset or the feel after it was done. It was a sigh of relief. And I just said, and honestly, I haven't gone totally back to it yet. It's on that to-do list that just keeps growing, but it's one of those things where those are all long-term plays.
Yeah.
All right. Every video that I did there that's on YouTube that was tied into my website, that's a long-term play.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I want, Mike, I want you to put your interviewer hat on, because Olivia here is an expert absolute expert with using video in social. And so I want to know, Olivia, is it Magic Monday? I want to know where all that came from, and what was it about? What's the backstory there?
Well, I didn't know that I was going to be in the hot seat.
Hey, I like to switch it up a little bit.
I think I should have been better prepared. Yeah. So honestly, it actually kind of generated from Elevate. To be perfectly honest, it was like a whole different world I walked into when I got off the plane in Cleveland. Who knew Cleveland could change somebody's life? But yeah, I came back from that conference with a completely different perspective about how we operate day to day, how we communicate with one another, how we build relationships. And then at some point I was on the phone with my boss, and I think, it was like, I could feel like there's something creative inside of me, but I don't really know what to do with it. And finally my boss was like, you just need to do your first video. Like just do it and post it and see what happens. And so I did that, and I recorded it, and then I sat on it for 12 hours before I ever hit post. Like I couldn't do it. I was sick to my stomach. And finally I just went for it. I just hit post and I moved on, and I was like, you know what? The worst that's going to happen is that nobody watches it. Like if nobody sees it, then there's absolutely no humiliation that can take place. Like it's fine. So I just let it go, and then it just kept going from there. And I remember looking at it like 5 days later and seeing, like, wow, people are looking at this and they're commenting. And the owner of the agency that I had been working for had actually, posted some video as well about, I don't even know what it was about now, but I was like, I feel like my stats are slightly higher. And he's like, oh, good for you. Like, it was just like this whole, it was good. It was good razzing, but he's like, and I remember that was the first time somebody looked at me and they're like, you do realize you're building a brand. And I was like, it's one video. I don't even know what that means. Like, I had no idea. So like, yeah, to be in this space now is pretty, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because you've had so many memorable videos that you've posted in your Magic Monday minutes there. You opened up pretty good in that first one about something, didn't you?
It was just about like doing stuff that, like taking the first step towards something that scares you, even though it's like it's important, and not even knowing what that means, just knowing that it's an important thing to do, and and it may not work, and if it sucks, then you try something else. But
it resonated with people, and that's the thing, is that you did it in a generic platform of, I'm just posting this to social media. I'm not sending this to a specific clientele or group or whatever the case is. I am posting this out there, and it's how people that have like the daily vlogs can build an audience where it's literally, no, everybody just walked into Olivia's life and said, yeah, me too.
Yep.
Like, I felt that same way, and I'm going to follow her through her journey. And then obviously they were blown away how the rest of that journey went, because you continue to put these out there. The following still is obviously humongous. But my biggest thing is, how long has it been since you've been doing them?
So it's February now, so it will, my gosh,
almost a year.
No, it's been over a year.
It's been over a year. Okay.
16 months.
Yeah. So I mean, you are building that. You've built that brand. Okay. You've built that brand more so than most people could ever imagine, because you resonate with everybody. You come with real life situations, real life problems, things that are going on. And I mean, honestly, I don't know how you come up with all this stuff, as creative as you are. And it's almost like you got to have a cheat sheet and a list of things, being like, all right, I'm talking about this in 3 weeks, but it doesn't feel that way. This feels like, hey, Monday morning was a blur, and here's why. And it hits you every time. Whether that's the way you're looking to do it or not, that's the way it comes across, and it is awesome.
Yeah, I had a bank of topics at one point, but that was like when I first started. I had 10 probably, and now it's just been real life is all it is. It's just everything that's actually happening. And so it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, obviously it did something, because now I've landed in this amazing job. So that, had I never done that video, none of this would have ever happened. And so when I left the agency, I was like, guys, like, you were such an important part of getting me here. Like, it was tough and it was stressful, and the video really had nothing to do with my agency life, but them just encouraging me that first time to do the video. I don't think they cared about any of it after that, but yeah, it was just, it was important. It's all part of the journey, right? Like, everything happens the way that it's supposed to, even if you don't understand it in the moments that it's happening. When you look back, you're like, oh, it all makes sense. So yeah, I mean, no, I honestly couldn't be happier. I wake up every morning and I'm just like, is this my life? Like, is this my life? Like, starting a podcast, which has nothing to do with this conversation, but like all of this stuff, like it's hard to believe that this is the life that I'm living now. So it's just, yeah.
So anybody that's watching or now or later, make sure you subscribe to Olivia's podcast whenever she starts that.
Nice.
That was the kind of the little brief shoot that like, this is going to happen, guys. So pay attention, but I'll say it bluntly. I don't mind.
Yeah. So
that's good, Mike. I feel like we need to, we need to get you on here as a regular to start doing the interview. And I think
Justin Goodman was nice enough to announce it at the little cocktail event at IAOA.
Did you even know?
There's no backing down now.
Yeah.
You know, there's people watching and listening right now. So yeah, do you guys want to know what it's going to be called?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Let's break some news on this program.
It's You Don't Know Schmidt.
Ooh,
wow,
I like it. Do you have a logo made yet?
No, that's in the works as of right now. So yeah, so I don't know.
I want a T-shirt.
I feel good you said that. Seriously, right before we got on this, I sent a message to Justin and said, I feel like I should have shirts. Yep. And he said, agreed. So there's shirts forthcoming.
Nice.
So yeah, so enough about me.
Enough about you. Well, this is good. And I guess I could bring this all back to say, you talked about one-on-one video with video proposals. We talked about more produced videos for the agency. We talked about videos in electronic signature or email signatures. We talked about video in in social. And so I think we could spend just a few minutes talking about the importance of just picking one and going with it, right? Because you can get so lost in planning that perfection that's really difficult to obtain. And Olivia, your example is spot on.
I will tell you, there have been times when, and granted, I try to do these in the first take, and sometimes I just forget what I'm saying, and but if I start over analyzing it, I could spend an hour. I don't have an hour to do this. And so last night, for instance, I recorded it 3 times and went with the first take anyway. I'm like, why did I even spend 10 more minutes in my room working on this? It's crazy. The perfection will kill you. The authenticity is what is meaningful to people.
Yes.
And I have a question for you as well. Are you writing all these down? Because I know Landon just threw a bunch at you, but is anybody else in your office doing video? Or is this really just you?
So most of the time it is just me. I have brought them all onto video before. And my one of my other producers will do video proposals. He doesn't do it as regularly as I do, but I have over the years of watching it work so well. He has finally pushed off the worrisome of doing it to literally say, yeah, this is worthwhile doing it. Mm-hmm. And he had that same mindset. Hey, I'm going to sell this anyways. I'm not going to spend the extra time to do it. Well, once you really start to see and build that relationship and see how that's worked over the long term, he's bought into it. So now that's been going on. Some of my staff absolutely can't stand being on video. They don't want to be on camera. They don't want to do any of this stuff, but they will humor me and allow me to bring them on certain things. Back to Landon's one video that I suggest, if anybody that's nervous about doing video that doesn't want to do it as regularly as Olivia's Monday video, whether it's every video proposal or whatever the case is, do this one video. Ask for a review on Google. Okay? Do one video that basically is you asking, hey, if you're happy with the service or the experience you've had with us, whether it's directed right towards new customers, whether it is your redirect when you're using DocuSign or another electronic signature platform, that it redirects to a landing page that has this video and that basically asks, leave us a review on Google. Mm-hmm. Be honest. People love that. Hey, if you're happy, do us a huge favor. This is how we compete against the big boys that spend billions on advertising. and be completely honest. And if you don't have the redirect, if you don't want to do the redirect, if you don't know how to build a landing page on your website, or don't want to get your IT guy involved, create it and just send it to random customers. Build a platform that says, but do it in a video so they really see your face. You can create one and just send it off. You're not recreating a new one every time. It's one video. You can edit it. You can record it 10,000 times if you need to. If you want that perfection, it will pay off. Okay. We have the redirect on our using DocuSign. A lot of people ask, well, what happens when somebody's mad and they leave you and you're electronically signing them the cancel forms? You don't want them to get that because they're going to leave you a bad review. Do what I did. Obviously, you do it on the landing page. You're asking if they're happy to click this button. If you're sad, to click this other button and tell us why. Have the redirect for the sad ones to go right to your email box. Have the positive ones go right to Google and get redirected there. It has been very, very beneficial for our agency. It's one video. It's a terrible video. I wanted to redo it. Honestly, it's terrible. Like, I look back now and I'm like, man, I got to redo that. But it still constantly brings in reviews that don't cost anything.
Well, and this is all you need. Like,
all you need.
This is all you need. I mean, Olivia, you use your iPhone to do the LinkedIn videos, right?
Yes, I swear by it. I don't know that I could really get used to anything else. Like, this being on like a computer camera is odd for me. I'm used to one thing, and honestly, you get a decent phone, and the sound and picture quality is top notch. In fact, when I upgraded phones, Landon immediately was like, whoa, what changed?
It's amazing what that technology does. I mean, it's so readily available. So yeah, I mean, that's all you need.
Listen, if you still have a flip phone, you probably can still do it.
It's true.
But
might be grainy, but yeah, well. Of course, there's that flip phone challenge out there. So
we'll ask Troy Thompson there. Troy, if you're watching, let us know how the videos come out on the flip phone.
Yeah, that's right.
Post it in the comments after on.
Well, Olivia,
I'll tag you in this later.
What was that?
Say, Landon?
I said, what else do we have for Mike, Olivia? What do we got left?
How many videos do you have out there right now, do you think, for the agency?
Oh, God. Great question. Good. I mean, so I went probably about 40 to 50 in when I had a weekly video series. Then I did the 101. So now we're in the upper above 150 probably.
Wow.
That are on YouTube. We have a whole bunch of unlisted ones that are used internally in different processes. I mean, we have an onboarding process for new customers. It starts with a welcome video that has all our staff in it. They hated it, but guess what? They're in it.
Yep. They
all have one line. So, I mean, they all just say one little line. It was very, very easy for them to do. There was no retakes. So that was good. I have a claims video. Again, I mentioned it earlier. We send it out probably 30, 60 days after a new customer. Just reminds them it's also there. That's built into our video proposals because that's a common question people have. And instead of me answering it in my video proposal, hey, you've never dealt with an independent agent before. What do we do in the event of a claim?
Right.
That video is in my resources. That's underneath. It's linked to it. So those are there that are constantly being used. As part of that process. We had a video for our renewal process that we did for a while. Literally, it just was me talking, asking, hey, renewal's going to come. Has anything changed? And I gave examples of things that are changing. But again, it's just putting my face in front of people, showing them that we care, we're paying attention, and that we're here. So there's definitely probably anywhere from 150 to 200 just floating around, not including any proposals or any of that stuff. And then now, I mean, the ones I do now, like I just quickly, I'm probably stealing Olivia's thunder of her LinkedIn Monday videos, but literally I got away from it after the video series every day for a while. And I said, you know what, I just got to, people would ask me, Mike, where's all the videos? You haven't been posting anything. I'll literally have a situation pop up in the office and I'll pop open the phone, I'll record it and quickly post it to LinkedIn and some other social media platforms just to get it out there. And those are raw. Those are, I mean, I could be in my car thinking, I mean, those are literally 2 minutes of saying, hey, this is something we're seeing it's happening. We need to, like, you probably don't know because the person that I just talked to didn't know.
Yeah.
And I'll jot some things down as they come. And then when I get a chance, I record them. And now I'm trying to do one of those at least a week. just to continue that flow of something happening.
Yeah,
But
creating a continued presence, I think it's tough. It's so easy to let that slide. I mean, I think, continuing to just be able to put any sort of content out. Because the thing is, it's like, it may seem mundane, but it's relatable to somebody. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. I always like to do a PSA when it snows to remind people to clean off their headlights.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody cleans off their well, not everybody. People clean off their windshields. They don't clean off their lights. No. And we get some snow. We get enough snow around here, Landon, that
I was going to say, I don't even know what you're talking about anymore.
You can't actually see the lights because there's so much snow on the rest of the vehicle.
Or also the roof of their car when there's like a foot of snow on top of the roof of their car.
Right.
All that's going to do is just going to fly back into the car behind you. So let's prevent an issue.
We got your video for this week, Mike. That's it. That's the topic.
Yeah, but the snow's melting right now. We got pounded last week. That should have been last week's video.
Well, it's got to be coming up again soon. We're still in the thick of it here. So.
That's true.
True. If we get snow tomorrow like we're supposed to, I will park my car outside.
Nice.
just for effect.
I'm not driving anywhere, but I'll park.
Yes.
Well, what do we think, Olivia? Are we ready for the whiteboard wrap up?
I think. Yeah, so Landon.
Whiteboard wrap up and final thoughts. How about that?
Ooh.
Are we good?
We're good.
We're good on time? All right, here we go. Whiteboard wrap up. These are quotes between Mike and Olivia here. Let's see. Video establishes authenticity. Love it.
Boom.
Great thing. Video is the great separator. Have a goal for your video. Big deal there. And we talked a lot about that. Yeah, talked a lot about that. Becoming the go-to insurance agent in your town. Video does not have to be perfect. Of all of them, I think that's going to take the cake right there. 100 videos in 100 days, not for the faint at heart. Let's see. Video's number one way to build new relationships. I wanted to write online there, but gosh, I feel like it kind of applies both online and offline. If video's there, plus you're meeting people, that's a big deal. The worst that'll happen is no one will watch. And Olivia, it all just makes sense.
That's right.
That's all I got. That's it. That's all I had this week. I mean, I thought that was a lot, though. I mean, shoot.
That's a lot. We packed it in.
We did. We did pack it in. Final thoughts, Mike. What do you think? What's
I tell you, if anybody struggles with getting over the fear of any of this stuff, please reach out and reach out to somebody, whether it is one of us or anybody else that is definitely pro video, that we can watch your video, we can critique it in the best possible way that says, listen, this is 100 times better than you think it is. Hit publish.
Yeah.
If you need that support, reach out, because that is going to be once you start rolling with this stuff, literally it just starts to fly.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter which video you go through. If you go through all of them, if you do just a little bit here or there, just do something. Start building a name for your agency. Now, can you do this in giant, large agencies? Yes, Olivia proved that. Okay.
Yeah.
Multiple locations. I don't know how, hundreds of employees, whatever the case may be. Yeah. You can do that in large agencies. If you're a small agency, even more important, because you might not have the brand built, the name of your agency's brand built. So whether you're building your own brand on a personal level, or if you're building an agency brand, there's nothing better to do that. So please reach out, and we'd be glad to help motivate you a little bit more.
No doubt.
So how can we get a hold of you, Mike?
Yeah.
Probably the best way right now would be through LinkedIn. LinkedIn, search me, you'll be able to find. I'm probably the most active there when it comes to one of the social media platforms. Or you can always email me. A lot of people email me direct. My email is easy, mike@crowleyinsurance.com.
Fantastic. This group's also available. You can always drop a video inside this group. I know, Mike, you're here. Olivia's here, so we can always critique it here if you wanted us to do that. So
yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then we'll see you in Nashville.
Yeah.
Ooh, still laying it on. I love it. I love it.
I'm a hard sell, let me tell you.
Is you have sales in your new role now too? Because
I mean,
can't just be marketing. You still got that sales part to you.
I mean, I think I have to. I think it's just part of the gig. Yeah. So yeah. So if you guys need to know about Total CSR,
there you go. Reach out to Olivia.
Shameless plug. There you go.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Guys, thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Thanks
for coming on.
Have a great day. We'll talk to you guys later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.